facets of their business that I didn't think I could incorporate into my real estate business, I've actually found out that a lot of different businesses can be used in my business, in different ways.
Facebook, Instagram, they kind of show you what you want to see. They don't show you what's out there. And so sometimes you don't get to see everything, the other perspective of things. So sometimes you don't see where there's a lot of us going through the same thing.
We sort of just let it out there and it's like, hey, this is kind of what we're doing today. And I guess I'm going from my very crazy, particular side to going more towards the idea that hey, anything is better than nothing, right? Putting some information out there is better than waiting until it's absolutely perfect and then never putting that information out there.
Hopefully our audience or the group, whomever's listening to this, sees that there's been growth within the 10 episodes we've put out. We're Erika Marie and Marie Lifschultz, a San Antonio area realtor and lender, but most importantly, we're working moms.
The goal of this podcast is to provide support and a sense of community to San Antonio area working moms like us. So join us in trying to find a balance between career, family, and everything in between.
Welcome to the 11th episode of the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. We're going to do stuff a little bit differently this time. We've gone through 10 official episodes, and so Marie and I were supposed to be doing some recording today, but unfortunately our guest was unwell and had to reschedule. So we're just going to do a little bit of a recap episode where we talk about how it's been going and what we've learned and what we love and all that good stuff. So I'm just here, just Marie and myself this time.
It's one of my favorite topics is talk a recap and actually talk to you. So I like it.
Yes, me too. And for any of our YouTube people, you'll see that I'm actually in my upstairs office. The lighting is a little different. The scenery is a little different. You may hear my family members downstairs because I'm kind of in a loft type situation. So anybody that has a loft knows that whatever happens downstairs, you can pretty much hear upstairs.
Hear everything.
Yeah. So anyway, a little bit of a digression there, but
It works.
Yeah.
Favorite so far, anything that you feel that you was kind of your I really connected with this episode. Anything for you?
I don't know about if it's any one specific one, but what I will say is a lot of these people that we've interviewed, facets of their business that I didn't think I could incorporate into my real estate business, I've actually found out that a lot of different businesses can be used in my business, in different ways. For example, when we had Delana on with the organizing, she provides a home moving service, which I thought was kind of cool. Or even the protective services that I thought was interesting, where they've had to already help realtors, feel more safe, or even looking up crime reports in neighborhoods and giving that kind of information to clients. To me, it's just stuff that I never really thought about. And so I've learned that a ton of this information can be used in my business in ways that I never really thought of. So to me, that was kind of an interesting takeaway.
Well, I love that. No, I think it's a good way of incorporating other businesses and just realizing how to expand yours, right? Having more resources available to help people. Because most of our businesses are about is helping someone. And I think in your line of work, a lot of people feel as you're as a resource. And then here you provide other recommended different resources for whatever. I know if I had a question, hey, who's the best XYZ? If I'm new to this area and I don't know the area, I might not know who to contact.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah. And another thing. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say another thing that I loved is how much these people are really so jazzed about their jobs. You can just tell when they're talking, they're lighting up. And I know not everybody sees our stuff on YouTube, but when I go back and edit it, I do. Obviously, I edit the video and the audio as well. And I can just tell when they get going on these topics, they're just so thrilled and really into it. And I just love seeing that. It's been really kind of a super nice part of doing this.
Well, I hope more people say, hey, reach out and say, can we be part of the podcast? It gives them a way into what they do that we wouldn't have known.
Right.
I didn't understand some of their businesses, but also appreciating their passion for what they do is very inspiring.
Yeah.
I love seeing that.
I
So
know. Yeah, same.
it's wonderful, and you connect with more people that way. So I
Right.
think a lot of times we tend to be a phone call, a text message, an email, and we don't really get to connect in person very often. Granted, we're not next to each other, but at least I can see. And sometimes hearing someone explain what they do versus reading about it on a website is a lot better.
Yeah,
So
no, definitely.
I love it.
I
I love
think
it. I
they've
hope more
gone
people
into
reach
some
out.
good detail. I
Hmm.
think, like you said, more so than just reading a website, we're getting a little bit more info that we wouldn't have normally gotten if we hadn't have done this one on one. So I guess I hope our listeners are feeling that benefit. We always try to ask, what are some tips or what are some tricks, and we're going to keep doing that stuff and hopefully
Yeah,
doing more of that stuff for upcoming episodes because I like to know sort of like the insider secrets. I want to know, we don't have to know your whole deal because obviously that's part of the, paying for people's services. But I do want to
yeah.
know a little bit, just show us like a little snippet of, some advice or this and that. And I hope that provides some value. And I've been enjoying just learning that information.
I do too. I think it adds a lot to, well, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of businesses that there was one that I think we had asked them, they have not been able to come on, but like we didn't know what a virtual assistant did. And it
Yeah.
would be really nice to interview someone who's a virtual assistant. 'Cause I'm like, how are they? Like, I have no clue. So
Same.
hearing someone talking about it and say, hey, this is what I do, this is the kind of services I offer, and this is how I can help you or your
Right.
company or your business would be awesome. And I think that in the people that we've talked to, some of them might not add direct value to what we do, but they add value to working moms of San Antonio.
Right.
So I think it's great. And I'm glad that we're doing it.
Yeah.
So
No, me
I'm really,
too.
really glad we're doing it.
Yeah, for sure. Same here. I mean, and we've got one coming up now on Thursday, which by the time this one airs, it will have already happened.
Mm. Yeah.
But the one that's coming up with the behavioral analyst and motivational speaker, I
Hmm.
really enjoyed listening to that one and even editing that one. It was like, to me, a lot of it was all about mindset, and I feel like that's so important. So while some of these people and all of these people do offer physical services or products or whatever, some of it to me is more about the mindset. Like that particular
Yeah,
one was like, this is how you can kind of shift your thinking. And I love that. We all need one time or another a shift in our mindset to kind of get things
definitely.
going. So like I said, by the time this one comes out, you guys will hopefully have already listened to that one. But if you haven't, go back and
Yeah.
listen to that one. The woman's name is Anissa Moore, and she's just number one, so relaxing to listen to. I noticed myself even on the video, like put my arm up like this, like I'm just listening and like getting super comfortable.
Yeah.
Her voice was so soothing. And she just had like a lot of really great stuff to say. And so I hope that people do go back and listen to that one if they haven't.
I think she was great. She was awesome. I have not heard it since we had the conversation with her. So I get kind of surprised every time I get to hear them on Thursday. I'm like, and I even hear myself, I'm like, I said that, or I don't remember all of it. So it's nice to go back and listen to them again.
Yeah,
So I love it.
definitely. So, do you have a favorite part about what we've been doing? Or is it all the
I
things
think
that we already said?
Well, I think my favorite part is getting to know them, like I said, learning about their business, but also seeing the type of people who reach out who want to share, right? This is very new for us doing video, doing the podcast and expressing ourselves this way. It's to see that people get out of their comfort zone and try it as well. I think we had a good friend, Boogie, who she's a dentist, and she's like, I don't do this very often. And I'm like, oh, it was new for her and she did awesome.
Yeah,
I think she did amazing on it. And it was nice to hear how her business was developing and, where she, her background and, dealing, you know, operating a business and children and so forth. So she
yeah,
was easy to connect with. And I like that. So
yeah,
I know that sometimes we have gatherings in person and not everybody's able to make it. And it's nice to connect with them this way. So
yeah,
it's great. I think it's awesome. So that's my favorite part is getting to learn about their businesses.
yeah. I
So
enjoyed that episode as well. I enjoyed talking about the mom stuff too. I love talking about the
yeah,
business stuff, but the mom stuff to me is also super relatable. We're all kind of going through it. And on that particular episode, I remember her talking about like maybe they don't always eat together as a family like they want to. And she was like,
yeah,
I feel like we're the only ones. And I was like, oh my gosh, we almost never eat together as a family. Like that is us. We are those people. And so, if you're running around and busy, there is that mom guilt sometimes where it's like,
yeah.
hey, everyone must be doing this and I'm not doing this. It's like, no, probably a lot of people are in your same circumstance. And so I think she felt good to hear that from us. And I felt good to hear it from her, someone that is running a successful business, that sometimes, the mom parts, there's a little bit of slack there. So it's not just me.
No, I think, and we see that within our group, we see a lot of moms that are maybe returning to work for the first time after having a baby. I think a few days ago, I saw someone saying, "Hey, I'm feeling really bad. Like I feel guilty. Should I be home? Should I be at work?" And I think on social media, where a lot of us connect right now, we see a lot of the positive stuff. We see all the great stuff and pictures of the baby, and oh, work is going great. Oh, I'm the top producer, or I'm whatever. But they
Right.
don't talk about some of the hard things, and sometimes you feel alone. Facebook, Instagram, they kind of show you what you want to see. They don't
Yeah.
show you what's out there. And so sometimes you don't get to see everything, the other perspective of things. So sometimes you don't see wherever there's a lot of us going through the same thing.
Right.
I like, motivation for work and so forth like that. You see everybody really happy. I'm like, wait a minute, why am I feeling weird? So I think our group adds a lot of value that they can ask these questions in a safe space and say, hey, there's 13 of us going through the same thing, and this is what I'm doing, what are you doing, and we can share ideas.
Right.
So I think that's cool, and I think hopefully they feel that through our podcast as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Definitely. No, I think I think overall it's all been super positive. I feel good about it. And just like you said, they're stepping out of their comfort zones. Goodness knows we have stepped out of our comfort
yes,
zone.
it's very much out of our comfort
Yeah, I mean,
zones.
anybody that knows me knows that like this is not my deal. Like even the idea of being recorded, even my voice, even my
Yeah,
face, any of that stuff like I'm not always super comfortable with that. And so, but I will say for those of you that want to start a podcast or a video
yeah,
podcast or want to do videos online or whatever the deal is, um, over time it gets sort of less hard. And I will say you kind of care less. I mean, in terms of what not you don't care less, but I mean, you kind of do in terms of, oh my gosh, is my hair perfect? Is my makeup perfect? Do I sound
yeah,
weird? Over time, you sort of just let it out there. And it's like, hey, this is kind of what we're doing today. And I guess I'm going from my very crazy, like particular side to going more towards the idea that, like, hey, anything is better than nothing, right? Like putting some information out there is
yes,
better than waiting until it's absolutely perfect and then never putting that information out there. So there is hope for those of you that don't like doing this kind of thing. Even someone as crazy and particular as I am is getting more and more comfortable with it. So I
Well, I
think
think
that's
at the
good.
end of the day, like, I think a lot of people, especially women, are gonna go like, "Oh, I don't like the way I look." I'm like,
Yeah.
I told you we got on, like, oh my god, my glass. So right before this happened, my glasses just broke. So I'm not used to seeing myself without glasses on. So I feel like, oh my god, I don't have any eyelashes. Like, what's going on? It's just really odd. It is what it is. This is what I look like. Get over. Like I have to get over it. It is what it is.
Right.
And it's I think they're gonna see anyway, like, right? That's
Yeah.
kind of what my thought process. This is me, and either
Yeah.
you like it or you don't. But I think the part of being just if you wait till it's perfect, you'll never do it. So just start, and as you build, hopefully, our audience or the group, whomever's listening to this, sees that there's been growth within the 10 episodes we've put out. Right?
Yeah.
We better questions, better pausing when speaking, which we did that a little earlier, but that kind of thing, learning how to interact via video versus someone in front of us, next to us.
Right.
Hopefully they see improvement. So it gets better each time. I think it does.
Yeah.
You know, I think the quality of our questions, and we're learning not to be nervous and talk to people better
Right.
in this platform. So I think that's good. So if you're out there and you're thinking of something, just try it.
Yeah.
I encourage you, just give it a try. There's a 50-50 chance you'll be successful. So the
Right.
odds are pretty good, right?
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's true. Just get out there and do it. So, well, I mean, I guess that was probably a pretty good recap of all the
Yeah.
things that we've been really, really enjoying it and, meeting all of you guys virtually. And I hope that you all, in terms of the listeners, are enjoying it
Well,
as
we've seen
well.
growth, right? We've seen growth. You've been able to see more listeners are following. We have
Yeah.
more, downloads or whatever the case is.
Yeah.
We're seeing more each day. So obviously the word's getting out there. So please, if you're able to share, if you think we're of any value, please share with friends and family. And we're happy to have input from any of you guys of topics you'd love to hear about, or
Yeah.
maybe companies within our group that maybe, hey, we really want to hear about so and so. They have this great platform or product that they're
Yeah.
offering.
Totally.
Hmm.
Or if you want to be on, I mean, we kind of put feelers out there into our particular group, but then we've also had people reach out by email. So if you want to be on the podcast and you feel like we haven't seen your comment, or you just didn't see that post thread or whatever, you can always email us at office@radisagent.com, and just let us know that you want to be on, and I guess let us know, what you do and that kind of stuff. And we can hopefully get as many people on as we can. I just think that would be great.
Yeah, and it's not only just for business owners. Like if you work for a company that you feel like, hey, I love my company and I want to share about it, please do that. Or if anything like that. Even if you're just a mom that want to share ideas, we're here to support all of our groups. So I think it'd be a great idea to have more. But like she said, we'll maybe add another, hey, who wants to be interviewed type post,
Right.
so we can get some more feed. Because sometimes in our group, our stuff doesn't get seen. It's really odd.
No, yeah,
But
I can't figure out really what that's about, but we're trying.
yeah, we are. We
So,
are.
okay, well, that was this 11th episode, and I guess stay tuned for future episodes and go back and listen to the old ones if you haven't done so. And otherwise, we'll just see all of you guys next week.
See you guys next week.
Thanks so much for tuning in to the Working Moms of San Antonio podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at our respective Instagram accounts or join our Working Moms of San Antonio Facebook group. Those links can be found in our episode description. If you have an episode topic suggestion or question, please email us at office@radisagent.com. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. See you next week.